as predicted, California Democrats are not going to stand by while the Texas Republicans redraw congressional maps to give Donald Trump 5 free seats in the midterm elections, because he knows that there's going to be an absolute red wedding at this midterm in 2026. So this article dropped from the New York Times a little bit ago. I want to read it for you guys. It's a little bit long, but a lot of good information. So California Democrats look to redraw a House map to counter Texas GOP. As Texas senators summoned the FBI to round up Democrats, the redistricting war that began in Texas was spreading, with California aiming at 5 Republican House seats. So Democrats in California moved this week to counter redistricting efforts by Texas Republicans, with discussions of a new political map of their own drawn to help Democrats win as many as 5 of the state's Republican U.S. House seats next year. That would functionally offset the 5 Democratic House seats that Republicans have targeted in Texas. One thing that I do want to note is that Democrats always need to take it a step further. I don't know why they're always just trying to equal out the field with Republicans, because Republicans do this, Democrats move here. So Democrats need to go all the way to stop Republicans and this regime from doing all of this extreme stuff. Here in Nebraska, Republicans were pushing, Donald Trump was pushing a winner-take-all system, because we divide our electoral votes by congressional districts, not a winner-take-all system. And Maine does the same thing. Maine is a blue state. They threaten the Republicans here that if you go to a winner-take-all system, we will as well, and that'll just wash everything out. In that situation, I don't know how you could take it a step further, but you get what I'm saying. The plan seemed far-fetched a few weeks ago, but has been gaining momentum as a redistricting war that began in Texas threatens to spread across the country. California's Democratic members of Congress and the state legislature have been briefed in recent days. State lawmakers are planning to vote on the proposal the week of August 18th, and Governor Gavin Newsom said he hopes to put a new map before voters in a special election this November 4th. If Republicans are going to play this game, California can fight and push back harder, said Representative Robert Garcia, Democrat of Long Beach. Continuing, saying, "We're not going to allow national congressional Republicans and Donald Trump to rig and gerrymander the map across the country and just sit by and do nothing." The section in California is the clearest sign yet. This action in California is the clearest sign yet that an effort pushed by President Trump to bolster Republican chances of retaining control of the House after the 2026 midterm elections could grow into a national fight stretching from coast to coast. The implications are stark: narrowing the number of House swing districts, empowering the ideological wings of both parties, and reversing movements to take redistricting out of the hands of politicians and to give it to nonpartisan commissions. I will say I am for independent redistricting. I think that trying to make it as fair as possible is the goal. But when you have Republicans trying to do this on purpose in mid-decade, the argument seems to be, well, Democrats are doing it too. Democrats have done it too. Look at Illinois, look at Oregon, look at these Democratic states. The difference here, although I agree there needs to be an independent redistricting commission, Donald Trump is trying to do this specifically because he knows he is going to lose the House. That is a blatant overreach of power. Mid-decade, these maps are 5 years old, and he's trying to redraw them 5 years ahead of time without new census information. So, we're comparing apples to oranges here. But bipartisanship is boiling over in Texas and scalding in other states. On Tuesday, the state's senior senator, John Cornyn, asked the FBI to help locate and arrest dozens of Democratic state lawmakers who left Texas to block the state legislature from voting on the Republican redistricting plan. This is John Cornyn of Texas right here. There you go. That's him. Asked if the FBI should get involved, Mr. Trump told reporters on Tuesday afternoon they may have to. Telling them this afternoon, today. The potential use of federal agents to round up the Texas lawmakers who have sought refuge in New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts would set up a clash between the Democratic governors of those states and the Trump administration. This is how civil war kind of start. When you start overreaching and sending out federal agents to arrest lawmakers, to force a quorum, to pass gerrymandered political power overreach. What are we really talking about here? Come on now. The potential, yep, I read that part. Defiant Democrats said that they would not back down, and national party leaders are looking to Illinois, New York, and Maryland to redraw their House maps as well. If they're going to cheat, then all of us have to take a hard look at what the effect of that cheating is on democracy, Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois said on Tuesday. That means we all have to stand up and do the right thing. So as far as I'm concerned, everything is on the table. Right? In truth, Republicans may have more cards to play in an all-out redistricting war in 2026 than Democrats do. Republican leaders are looking to redraw maps in Missouri, Indiana, and Ohio, as well as Texas, and perhaps in more states as well. Vice President J.D. Vance plans to visit Indiana to discuss the push on Thursday, the state's Republican Governor Mike Braun told reporters on Tuesday. This is crazy. These people are literally dissolving our democracy in real time. They're dissolving our democracy in real time. Just a little bit ago, I mentioned that I am for redistricting plans, which you guys should go watch the documentary Slay the Dragon on Hulu. It is probably one of the best documentaries I have ever seen, and it focuses on gerrymandering and forming an independent redistricting commission in Michigan, but not just Michigan. It focuses on it talks about Wisconsin. It talks about so many other states and how the Republicans had a plan after the 2008 election, right? Because people thought the Republican Party was completely gone. You know, people thought that the Republican Party was completely gone, and the way that they were going to win back the House was to redraw the maps, begin the gerrymandering process. In truth, I read that part. Okay. In the meantime, House maps and redistricting laws in Democratic states present significant hurdles. Illinois, for instance, is already so skewed to Democrats that flipping even one of 3 Republican seats left would be extremely difficult for map makers. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York warned on Monday that restrictions on redistricting in the state would most likely mean new maps could not be adopted until 2027. David Turner, a spokesperson for Governor Westmore of Maryland, said this week that Mr. Moore, a Democrat, would continue to evaluate all options as states around the country make decisions regarding redistricting. Only one district in Maryland remains in Republican hands. Still, California could be a significant counter to Republican moves. While maps are still not finalized, one plan that was presented to the congressional delegation this week could wipe away as many as 5 of the 9 House Republicans from California. The affected Republicans could include Representatives Kevin Kiley, Ken Calvert, David Valado, and Darrell Issa, 3 people familiar with the plans, said. Republican voters could also be drained from the Northern California seat held by Representative Doug LaMafla, a Republican, to put it into play. In some ways, it's possible that the Democrats could be going even further. While Texas was trying to redraw up to 5 new Republican seats, the ambitions in California include not just creating the same number of Democratic seats, but also shoring up as many as half a dozen incumbent Democrats in the state who are in potential battleground districts. One possible map would power Representative Kim Young's Orange County district, now a Republican-leaning seat with more Republican voters from Southern California, to bolster neighboring swing districts with more Democrats. But enacting a new map in California would be complicated. Unlike in Texas, where politicians control the process, California's congressional districts have been set by an independent commission that is not allowed to consider partisanship in drawing the lines. Mr. Newsom has proposed putting that system on hold for the next 3 elections to help Democrats counter the Republican plan in Texas. He wants the California plan to contain a provision saying that it only goes into effect if Texas approves new maps mid-decade. It's triggered on the basis of what occurs or doesn't occur in Texas, Mr. Newsom told reporters on Monday. I hope they do the right thing, and if they do the right thing, then there'll be no cause for us to have to move forward. He's talking about Texas. The plan is coming together swiftly because California lawmakers will need to vote on it before it can get on the ballot. And Mr. Newsom has said he wants the maps to be complete before voters weigh in. Legislators in Sacramento must act by August 22nd to get the plan on the November ballot, according to the California Secretary of State's office. The Service Employees International Union California, a powerful player in state politics, announced its support for the Democrats' plan on Tuesday. But groups that supported California's switch to an independent redistricting system have begun organizing opposition to the potential ballot measure, setting up an expensive and feisty off-year election. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is also in the Slay the Dragon documentary, championed the independent redistricting system when he was governor of California and campaigned for similar systems in other states. He signaled recently that he was not happy California could consider a return to partisan gerrymandering and was preparing to fight back if necessary. His thing is gerrymandering is evil everywhere, said Daniel Ketchel, Mr. Schwarzenegger's chief of staff. No matter where it's done, he opposes it and wants the people to be in charge, not the politicians. Okay, well then, Mr. Schwarzenegger, you need to call up the governor of Texas, or you need to take a trip down to Austin, Texas, and let them know how you feel, because clearly they don't care. They are going to redraw the maps. They're going to hand Donald Trump 5 new congressional House seats to hold on to this unpopular party's policies. Like, the policies are unpopular that they just passed in this big, beautiful bill, this big, terrible bill. And there's going to be, like I said, a red wedding in the midterm elections where Republicans are going to lose so many seats that Donald Trump is literally pulling out all the stops. I mean, JD Vance is literally really going to go over to Ohio or Indiana to talk to the Governor Braun, about, you know, what they're going to do over there. Was it Indiana? I think it was. Mr. Calvert, one of the Republicans targeted, said in a statement that he opposed the scheme being orchestrated behind closed doors by Sacramento politicians to take constitutionally afforded power away from the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. Another threatened Republican, Mr. Kiley, has introduced federal legislation to forbid the type of mid-decade redistricting that Republicans are pushing in Texas, and that threatens his seat in California. Redistricting is supposed to be done once a decade, he said in an interview, adding that his bill will stop this sort of arms race or redistricting war from cascading across the country. But Democrats who approved the independent commission may now be in a fighting mood. Representative Laura Friedman, a Democrat from the Los Angeles area, said that she has received overwhelmingly positive feedback from constituents when she has mentioned the possibility of mid-decade redistricting at recent events in her district. People were saying things like, "Finally, the Democrats are fighting back," she said. "You can't wage the fight on your own set of rules when someone else is playing by a different set of rules." Beyond California, Lisa Hernandez, the chairwoman of the Democratic Party of Illinois, said Democrats in the state were ready. If this is the way they are going to violate what is so precious to our country, our freedom, our rights, we have to fight, she said of the Republicans. The practical and political reality in Illinois is more complicated than that. Illinois is already one of the most heavily gerrymandered states in the country, and in 2021, Democrats redrew the congressional map to eliminate 2 Republican seats. Democrats now hold 14 of Illinois' 17 seats. Ryan Tolley, executive director of Change Illinois, a nonpartisan group that advocates fair elections, said that procedural issues would slow down a push to make a new map, since candidates would have already begun collecting petition signatures to appear on the March 17th primary ballot. Mr. Pritzker would also have to call a special session of the legislature. Damn, this article is getting long. In Texas, the partisanship only grew more bitter on Tuesday. In a letter to the FBI director, Kash Patel, Mr. Corn, a Republican, said that the federal resources are necessary to locate the out-of-state Texas legislatures who are potentially acting in violation of the law. The agency declined to comment on whether its agents would get involved. Hours later, the state attorney general, Ken Paxton, said that if absent Democrats did not return by Friday, he would seek a court order declaring their seats vacant, which, once again, in the video that I posted yesterday, he can't actually do that. He can't declare their seats vacant. And keep in mind, Ken Paxton was a person who skipped town to avoid being subpoenaed for the stuff that he did as when he was attorney general facing impeachment proceedings. The Speaker of the Texas House on Monday issued civil warrants for the arrest of absent Democrats. Governor Greg Abbott of Texas then directed the state police to assist the Texas House in executing these civil warrants, suggesting they had violated the state's anti-bribery laws. But once again, those warrants stop at Texas's borders, right? They can't go into Oklahoma. They can't go anywhere else. They can't. Ooh, I just got a news alert. We'll circle back on that. Representative Gene Wu, a Houston Democrat and the party's leader in the state house, said Mr. Corn was threatening them to misuse the FBI in a pathetic attempt to prove his extremist credentials to his party's voters. Good luck with that, he added. Mr. Corn is engaged in a tough fight for re-election next year with Mr. Paxton, a hardline conservative popular with the Republican base. Both candidates are seeking Mr. Trump's support. On Monday, Mr. Paxton conceded that it would be a challenge for Texas law enforcement to arrest the absent Democrats who had fled their jurisdiction. The accusation by Mr. Abbott of criminal activity this time appeared aimed at increasing the stakes of the Democratic state lawmakers who, under the rules of the state house, are each already facing fines of $100 per day that they are not present. So if they are gone until, I thought it was August 19th, but somebody said August 21st. So pretty much like, if my math was correct, they're going to be fined $7,500. If I'm wrong, then it'll actually be $8,500 if I have my days off. So they are fundraising, right? A lot of these lawmakers have regular jobs. They have families. They have mortgages. You know what I mean? Because most like lawmakers in all these different states, I'll put it in perspective. Nebraska only has one house. We don't have a House of Representatives. We just have a state Senate. 49 senators. That's it. They each get paid $12,000 a year. So all of them, most of them, I mean, some are retired and some are already rich, have jobs that they work. They have regular jobs that they go through every day. They have 9-to-5s that allow them, you know, the 90 days or 60 days off, depending on the biennium of days that they need to be here in Lincoln in the Capitol to conduct business at the state legislature. So a lot of these lawmakers in Texas have regular jobs, right? Like this isn't their only job. They have regular jobs. This is just like a side thing that they do. Isn't that crazy to think? Like you're a representative, but it's just like a side thing that you do. You actually have a real like full-time job. So they are fundraising, right? But they can't use their own like campaign contributions because there are like bribery laws against that. So, I mean, I don't know if people are donating to their Venmo, if people are donating to like, to PACs, and the PACs are like then paying for hotel rooms, for flight, things like, I don't know. I don't know how that's all working out, but all I know is that I hope that they hold the line, because this, like I said in the video yesterday, this is going to start backsliding everything. I do like Governor Newsom's plan, you know, that these new maps would only trigger if Texas goes through with their gerrymandered, you know, new map to give Donald Trump 5 new seats. But tap into the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Be sure to subscribe and give this video a like before you take off. Turn on post notifications. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.